Hi, everybody. I wanted to record this video just to say hello and hope you had a great summer. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my summer, particularly my month of carbohydrates. So, if you're a patient of mine, we have likely talked about a carbohydrate and a sugar-rich diet, and how that's probably sabotaging your health. Now, that said, we are all human. And carbohydrates can be almost impossible to avoid, to escape them, to replace them effectively. And this is especially when we may be traveling, let's say. So while I tend to practice what I preach mostly, I too am always learning. And when I look back at my own health journey, I know that I can see that I became less and less able to tolerate carbohydrates in my diet, and after long periods of stress, this is what started to emerge for me. And so today, a typical day in the life of me is a day that mostly requires a low carbohydrate diet, rich in good fats, a lot of veggies, proteins as much as possible. And then my husband and I traveled to France for a month. And what did I learn from this experiment? Well, so needless to say, I was faced with bread, with cheese, with wine, and with desserts daily, multiple times a day. And so these are foods that would otherwise cause me to have digestive upset, low energy, headaches, mood swings, skin rashes, itchy eyes, puffiness, bloating, just general discomfort, hormone imbalances, even pain. And on this trip, it did not. So, why would that be? I started to think a lot about stress and how the body adapts. And so, how would stress affect, obviously, how our body adapts? Aside from the fact that these foods are cultivated and prepared differently in Europe, and many would say that the practices there are much healthier than they are here in North America. But I did react to those foods actually in the very beginning of my trip, but only in the beginning. When the stress melted and when my nervous system and my adrenals actually had a chance to reset, a good long time to settle, my body, I could feel, began to adapt. So, we are in fact hardwired to adapt. We get sick when these adaptations of the body are overwhelmed and can no longer cope and keep up. My favorite analogy is that, when your bucket is full, you're going to have spillover. So I had time to let my bucket empty a bit, and let me tell you, it had been a while. I truly hadn't stopped for years, despite being good at or knowing all the right things that I could or should be doing for myself, and in fact doing many of those things. But I really truly hadn't. When I look back on it, I hadn't really stopped for years, in fact. And during those years, so many things had happened. I mean, we're talking the last decade even. Some of the big ones being I lost my dad. Then I went back to school, and that was for quite a few years, and all the testing and all of the stress and the board exams and all of that. And then I started to practice and practiced for a few years and took on that grueling nature of building a business. And then not too long ago lost another family member who was like a brother to me, and then decided to move my practice and create this whole other transition. And my husband and I had to leave our home, and in fact we're still in between homes because our future home is not ready yet. So really, over those years, I had felt my body's ability to adapt diminish slowly over time. And now I am, a seemingly healthy, vibrant young woman. But truly inside, I could feel that ability to adapt decrease. And my body was slowing down. I was exhausted. I was really, really needing a break. And really, it's so hard to know when you're in it, when you're in the eye of the storm. And that combined with financial stresses and all of that, all of the things that tell you, I can't take a break now. I got to push. I got to keep going. There's a destination I have to get to, and I'm not there yet, so I can't stop till I'm there. In the meantime, what I know I was doing was just ignoring those little things every day in my body, every day, really. And so what I ended up doing was, after being in the middle of that seeming storm, I crawled out the other side with a smile on my face as usual, and a lot of pain, in fact, and illness starting to surface in my body. And so this for me it's a continued lesson, really, and it's something that I know we all are guilty of, and I'm guilty of it, even though I have all the knowledge and I have, all the right tools in my tool belt. But I am also human, like you. And so what I truly learned was, you could be taking all the supplements in the world. You could be doing all the wellness workshops in the world. But if you're not, in fact, stopping just to give your body a chance to adapt, a chance to get ahead of what it's going through, you will get sick. I was going to get sick. I was sick. I would get sick. And I'm recovering. And so I share this with you because I really believe that the body is hardwired to adapt. We innately have the ability to heal. We innately have the tools. The body has the wisdom to know what to do. And when stress truly gets in the way and we layer it, we stack it, right? Year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day, really, that bucket just fills and fills and fills. And it's going to spill over because we're human, because we're not machines. So I hope that was useful for you. Therefore, obviously my message here is to say I've been through it. I've experienced it. I've experienced the mayhem, the exhaustion, the feeling that you are going to get sick and your body cannot adapt. And I've experienced now, after years, the opposite, when I went against all of the voices from family, friends, that you can't take a break, all of those voices, and my husband and I went against it and said, no, we're going to do that. And we did. We've now experienced that reset. And my nervous system and my adrenals truly thank me for it every day. And by no means am I 100% either. I'm also recovering every day and still learning how to integrate this into my daily life. So we're in it together. I hope you're all well. And so I hope you enjoyed my story of my month of carbohydrates. And I would look forward to hearing how your summer was. Take care.